I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In nationwide news at this hour, Prime Minister Andrew Holness scores major victory in the first step of his legal battle against the Integrity Commission.
The Prime Minister has been granted leave to challenge an explosive report from the Commission into its financial affairs.
It's a very sad situation. When we see, and then today we see in the paper where the business partner of the Prime Minister is asked the court to say, that it is a conflict of interest.
He's bringing his own claim.
You know? No, these people really take people for that, until the court see that. But it is so sad that the Prime Minister of Jamaica, our Prime Minister, that our tax dollars are paying, have to reach this level where I have to go to the court to get to have a cost to the investigation in his doings. It is terrible. It is untenable.
Why is it so?
I want to say it's untenable. The first thing, the Prime Minister wouldn't mix up on them things. The Prime Minister must be above board. From 2021 up to today, the Prime Minister's tax declaration cannot be certified. What happened?
And that's what he's saying. And that's what he's saying. He's saying it's unfair to him that it's not been certified.
No. It is unfair to the country because of him. Because I want to tell you why I said that. I remember a couple last year when the question was went to him. Was put to him. Why it can? Him said that after the additional documents.
Yes.
Up to now, don't tell him even them it.
No, he has said that. The report.
No. It tells again that because of time. Even the time.
No, John. He has said that. He has clarified the position. He has said that repeatedly, and it is also reflected in the IC report by the investigator that he provided.
Something. All right. Why is it that our Prime Minister waiting Mark Golden every year 3 months I'm certified? I'm certified. What happened?
Well, we don't know that. We don't, and that is why.
That's what we need to know, and I'm sure
that is why there's an issue. So let me just quickly respond to the point. The Prime Minister has said that he had said publicly when he spoke about the matter that the IC had asked for information, and he has provided them all the information. The report by the investigator, the Director of Investigations at the IC Integrity Commission, also confirmed receiving some information, some documents. However, the bone of contention remains that the IC is still asking for additional information which have not been provided.
So why can't provide it? Why?
Maybe the information, John, have you considered that maybe the information that the IC is asking for is not in his possession?
All right. So long, and I can't get it.
No, but if it's not in his possession, how is he going to provide it?
No. In an position, then after this. So why can't provide it?
John, you're not answering the question. If it is not, let us, as a matter of possibility, if it is not in his possession, how is he going to provide it?
No, my brother, listen again.
Let me give you an example.
All right.
Hold on. Let me give you an example. Say you are working at X place.
Yeah.
And the IC says to you, I want your pay slip for the month of January 2021. And you had a fire and your pay slips burn up. How are you going to give the IC the pay slip?
Simple thing, my brother. Simple thing.
Tell me.
Then you what in place.
Well, that is the point I'm making.
You can go back to the place as what you know.
Yes.
I request this.
Yes.
And in lieu of the original one.
Yes. And what if the company closed down? What if the company closed down?
Well, he could have told the company closed down. But
that's the point I'm making, John. What if he's not in his position to give it?
Even if the company closed down, you can have lawyers, JPs, who can certify he was working at that time. The company had been closed down. The director have died, but we were working there. This is what he was getting.
All right, John. Go ahead to the next one.
I kind of don't like the stand you're taking, You're defending undefensible, man.
Tell me.
What we're talking about is the Prime Minister of Jamaica we're talking about,
Yes.
And things are going on, like we operate a little banana republic. $3 million, $3 billion, $1 trillion missing there. So, Prime Minister have to be taking integrity commission.
Hold on, Metro. You realize that the $3 trillion is over a period of up to 11 years? Did you notice that from the report?
So what is the significance of that now you're talking about?
Okay, what's the significance of it? The significance of it is that it went across administrations. Did you realize that?
Hold on. So when the people them go to the poll to vote, right? Them vote for a government to continue the same thing what was going on?
I don't know what people vote for when they go to the poll. That's a question that I've always asked. I wonder what they vote for.
All right. Why do people change government?
I don't know. You tell me.
Then just check. Don't be difficult, man. Then the people don't just get up and change government to change government here. They change the government for the government that is in present now to do better than the one we have before. So we can't be happy and going about what is happening 18 years ago or what happened 10 years ago. The government is in place now. They must correct the problem because they come to us and tell you that they can do better than the one that was there before.
You know the only difference that
I don't want you people in the media to come now and tell people about what happened 11 years ago or what. At 9 years, going to 10 years, the man in power.
All right, Metro.
To correct some of the problem that we have.
The difference that you and I have is that when I speak of government, I speak as a citizen and I talk about government being a continuous entity. When you speak about government, perhaps you're thinking about it in terms of administration, where you're talking about the PNP administration or the JLP administration.
I am talking about the people when we go to the polls, as all over the world, when people go to the poll, them go to the poll to elect a government to correct or to make them life better. Right?
Yes.
They go to the poll and select a government now and to be keep on looking back through the way view mirror. To look forward. And you people in the media must do better than this man. And stop making excuse for these people that incompetent is shown all over the place. Right? Look at the roads. The thing we had some of the driest period of time in this country for the past couple of years. Right? And look at the roads. Is that now the road they mash up,
Hold on, Metro. Let me take the break and come back to you. We have online a caller, Metro. Metro, you were saying before the break?
Yeah, man. When we elect a prime minister, we expect that man to be of impeccable character, right?
Yes.
There should be no hint of corruption in his whole doing, right? So you can elect a prime minister and so many years, 2 to 3 years, is such a deduction cannot be verified. And people are making all kind of excuse about supposing this and supposes that.
I want to say something, Metro, but I'm afraid that you're going to chastise me. I was going to ask you about who is the new president-elect of the United States.
Okay, so that is standard one. That is the standard
No, I'm just asking you a question.
The Trump man.
Okay, was he elected?
So that is the standard.
What was he elected?
That is the standard by which we must judge our leaders.
I'm just pointing out the flaw in your own argument. You said people go to the polls for better to elect people because they want better and stuff. The president-elect of the United States has a criminal conviction.
Yeah, so
and he was re-elected.
So because the president of the people of the United States elect a criminal. We in Jamaica now must.
I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination, and also I want it to be clear.
What's the point you're making?
I'm just pointing out your entire argument, but I want it to also be clear. While I take your point that the Prime Minister of our country, or of any country, should be above board, I want to also make the point clear that there is no adverse finding against the current Prime Minister of Jamaica.
So
there is an investigation, but there's no adverse finding.
Going to the court? Why is he going to the court to want the court to shut down and to weaken the integrity commission?
That doesn't mean that he's exercising his rights to do that. He doesn't agree with the process, and all citizens have that right, including the Prime Minister.
So we must have a leader now. We elect a leader now, and we put in some entity then to control illicit enrichment, right? And this leader now have a problem with the process, and he must go to the court and want the court to weaken the power of that institution, so that them don't check him out properly and find out if him earning is legitimate. What are we saying? What type of example are we setting for our kids?
You see, Metro, that's a misunderstanding that is there in your mind. The Prime Minister is not seeking to strike down the Integrity Commission. The court can't strike down the Integrity Commission. The Prime Minister is contesting the findings that the Integrity Commission has found against him.
You read some of what he put before the court?
Of course, I've read it. I also happen to know and understand what a judicial review application is.
So there is nothing in what he's putting before the court that will saying that they must weaken the integrity commission.
No, the court will not be able to weaken the Integrity Commission. If the Prime Minister wants to change the Integrity Commission, they have to do that through the Parliament. They can't do that through the court.
So if let's go to the court, we just go to the court straight then.
He is going to the court because he does not agree with how the Integrity Commission findings affect him personally. So he wants a review of the decisions taken by the Integrity Commission regarding him. That may lead to other things, but currently as it is, the court cannot do what you understand it to be saying that they should be doing. That's not what the Prime Minister is seeking.
I don't have all the facts right now because I read it somewhere, but I can't recall it right now. But I'm certain that some of what he is proposing now going to the court to do is to weaken the integrity commission. Anyhow,
listen. I think you better listen to Jesse now that Jesse is on sometimes in the evening. Jesse have that balance. I see some of the serious weakness in the TSP, But I know as a person that sometimes chase them in private and father them up. But I don't do it on the air sometimes, and there are times when I leave and bring it out on the air.
Yes.
Because yesterday I was in Montego and I went to have a look at the new road that the Prime Minister...
The bypass that they're building?
Yeah, man, and they're doing a bridge. And boy, that bridge is properly done.
Yes, it's been constructed by NROC. On themselves. And when challenged, they get upset. They would laugh. This last one before I go to the phone line, maybe that's why Nigel left. He knew a big run with it. Spending was going to happen by the JLP admin this election year. Also, when you see those really big contracts, some of those funds will be redirected to politicians via donations. So we know one party will have lots of money to spend. All right, let me go to the phone line now. There's Albert online, and then I come back to the WhatsApp line. Morning, Albert.
Good morning, boss. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. How are you this morning?
Well, I'm giving thanks. As a legal man, I'm asking you 2 questions.
Yes.
When you collect money from the taxpayer to do why, and you don't do it, do you have an obligation to come back to the taxpayer and say, I collect X on you to do Y, but I'm going to use it to do Z?
It depends.
It depends.
Yes.
So, therefore, you're not accountable to those who take their money.
You are, but I said it depends.
Okay. Let me get to the point that I'm talking about.
Yes.
When we add some big taxation, right, we were told that X amount of money that is priced in the gas is to go to a hedge fund that your gas price will never go over certain amount.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
They don't put the money in any hedge fund. It go into the consolidated fund, and they keep on taking from you, and you have to pay higher cost for your gas. No. Isn't that robbery by a trick?
You may call it that. I don't think it is, but you may call
What
it
it
that.
is? What from a lawyer perspective? What it is?
All right, and if you ask me from a lawyer perspective, let me just tell you what is in my mind, from a legal mind. The government, and this is how the courts have interpreted it, the government is, as set out in the Constitution, there for good governance among several other functions. The courts have consistently ruled that when a matter of policy, that the government, and particularly in our system, the cabinet, is the sole authority for policy making. One of the fundamental issues of policy making is taxation. So when the government, for example, sets out to implement any form of tax, the government may go to Parliament and say, I'm going to do this tax for gas, as you use the example. But as a chief policy maker, in terms of, in other words, the government sits at a table and it looks at all that is in front of them. If a natural disaster comes, for example, and the government says, this money that was collected for tax to fix road, we need to use it to help the people because of the disaster. The court can't say you can't do that. And that is why my answer to you was, it depends.
And I accept that when it comes out of national disaster. But let me say something to you now. We, the motorists, in what we pay for gas, some of it also will go to the hedge fund, and some supposed to go to a road improvement fund.
Yes.
Right? All of that lump into the consolidated fund. So therefore, what you do, you said there's no new tax. But every time I go to the gas pump, you get tax from me for what you didn't tell me you were going to do with it. You know what I mean? So all of that money roll into the consolidated fund daily, and I have to pay more money if you drive on the Bally Road, mash up my car, pay more GCT, and you name it. So if you tell me that is not robbery by a trick, what it is?
I am telling you why it's not robbery by trick, Albert. Do you know?
That disaster we have.
Hold on. What is a consolidated fund used for?
For what those in the cabinet wanted to do.
The consolidated fund, for the benefit of all listeners, is a fund that all governments, that the majority of government spending comes from. So that's the government's main bank account, put it that way.
And a part of the $3 trillion that we can't account for.
If the government is spending on hospitals, schools, anything that the government is spending from, it's coming from the consolidated fund. So if the money goes into the consolidated fund, although you're saying it doesn't go to what you want it to go, you still benefit.
No, not what I want. What you tell me is going to do with it.
All right, that is fine, but you still benefit. Can you still go to the hospital? You still
no, I don't benefit.
What do you mean?
I don't use your hospital. I have to spend my money and go to my private doctor.
Yes. You don't
I have to spend my money and send my kid to private school.
Yes.
So I don't benefit. I would have benefit from the road and benefit from the low cost of gas.
Yes. And there's nothing that the government spends from the consolidated fund from which you benefit?
I'm not the Mr. Lawyer.
Yes.
I am saying to you, when you take my money that I was supposed to benefit from the lower gas price, and every week you take that and tell me that you don't give me no new tax, you tax me daily to go into the consolidated fund, which that was not the agreement now you have.
But it wasn't an agreement though. It was a promise.
No, your prime minister said he don't make promise, he give commitment.
All right. A promise is a commitment. All right, before we go back to the phone line, let me just take on some of the other messages on the WhatsApp line. This one says, good morning, Kemoy. I'm glad how you educate Metro about the Prime Minister and the IC. He's from station to station. Every program accusing the Prime Minister of wanting to weaken the IC without even understanding what is going on. And that's the purpose for why I sit in this chair, you know. It's to, and I want the listeners to understand. I know that persons have declared their political affiliations, and we have no problems with that. But I don't sit in this chair to cheer on any political side. I sit here as a journalist and I also use my legal training to provide information, and I sit really in the middle. I'm not here to support any particular political party or political views. I'm here to listen to you, to facilitate you, but also to provide that level of education that is needed and is required. So we thank the listener for that comment.
Now to the details. The Supreme Court has agreed with Prime Minister Andrew Holness that an argument can be made that the Integrity Commission's decision to refer his 2021 statutory declarations to the Financial Investigation Division, FID, was illegal. It was a key point on which the court granted Holness leave to challenge the Commission's explosive report into his financial affairs. The high-stakes legal showdown pits the Prime Minister against the country's preeminent anti-corruption body with less than a year before he's due to face the electorate in a general election. Ricardo Brooks has read the 53-page report and filed this report.
The matter was heard in chambers by Justice Althea Jarrett. According to the Justice, the primary question for resolution was whether Prime Minister Andrew Holness and his business interests should be granted leave to challenge the Integrity Commission's investigation report and special report. Both reports relate to whether Holness owns assets disproportionate to his lawful earnings. The reports also concern whether Holness made false statements by way of omission in his statutory declarations. The reports are dated August 30, 2024 and September 5, 2024, respectively. The Prime Minister was successful in court on two important grounds. Justice Jarrett has granted him leave to bring a judicial review claim seeking to quash the August 30, 2024 report. She has also granted Holness permission to seek leave quashing the special report of the Integrity Commission. To quash a matter in law means to have a decision declared invalid and reversed. According to Justice Jarrett, Kevon Stevenson's decision to recommend a referral of the Prime Minister's finances to the Financial Investigation Division, the FID, has a practical adverse effect on Holness, as his 2021, 2022, and 2023 statutory declarations would not be finalized until the FID conducts and completes an investigation. Kevon Stevenson is the Director of Investigation at the Integrity Commission. Justice Jarrett also found that Stevenson had no express power in the Integrity Commission Act to make a referral to the FID. She says the matter can be argued before the Judicial Review Court and has a realistic prospect of succeeding. The Justice says the Commission's acceptance of Stevenson's recommendation and strong recommendation to the Parliament to support it also had the same adverse effect on Holness's rights. The Justice excludes from the finding of adverse effect the recommendation that Parliament develop a policy and legislation to deal with corporate activities of government ministers. She determined that it had no adverse effects on any rights and therefore should not be judicially reviewed. But she said that by accepting the recommendation of Stevenson in its special report, the Integrity Commission was also accepting the FID referral recommendation. The Justice says if the original recommendation from Stevenson was beyond his statutory authority, then it appears to her that the Commission's acceptance of the recommendation would also be tainted by illegality. Justice Jarrett says it can therefore be argued with a realistic prospect of success that by accepting Stevenson's recommendation and encouraging the Parliament to do the same, the Integrity Commission acted beyond the scope of its lawful powers under the Integrity Commission Act. The Justice refused Holness's requests for various declarations as she found he did not require leave to seek those declarations. She also refused Holness's requests for 3 orders compelling the Integrity Commission to exonerate him and to review his statutory declarations for 2021, 2022, and 2023. The examination of the declarations was allegedly already undertaken and could not be certified as the 2021 declaration was still outstanding. The court refused the exoneration request on the basis that it could not usurp the decision-making authority of public bodies and officers. Holness now intends to pursue his original 23 declarations in the first hearing, which is scheduled for January 7, 2025. Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News.
The Planning Institute